Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to our website, sign up for the free membership. You get more videos like this, emails to our live streaming sessions, trade alerts, trade ideas, a little bit of education, a little bit of fun. So let's get right into the daily spider, SPY. Today, 66 cents up. Not a great showing. Light volume again, so we just floated 69 million on a day. No great shakes. One thing that catches my eye is the 60-minute chart. We do have a nice inside bar, bearish pattern. They could not get it above the MAs like the usual suspect. Little volume came in at the end, pushed it back in, and then pretty much stalled out. Closed 66 cents up. No great shakes. Again, light volume. I'm surprised we didn't go higher. But we retraced nice to the 50%. Came right back in, boom, right back below the MAs. Grandma's goal in life needs to get it back above, make everybody happy, and just move along. So daily chart, guys, you know what? We keep touching this 50 MA, we keep touching this 20 MA. Slightly bullish, overall bearish inside bar. Still above the MAs here, still okay in a strong stance. Again, if you're bullish, you need to get above this big red bar, fill the gap, go after the 240.32 number, then I think you could possibly go higher, one step at a time. If you are bearish, needs to definitely crack this 50 MA here. Trend line, we go to double bottom, see how that sets up. Ultimately, I think we're going to come down somewhere in this area, and then we'll have to take it one day at a time. You still have a big gap fill around 208.55 before the Trump rally, and you got to respect that area. You got to respect gaps, even gap windows too, because stocks love to fill those. So beware of that. Again, 69 million. Going to have a hard time selling unless some news comes out or something like that. IWM. IWM was the strong horse of the group today, up $1.25 or 0.93%. Still not out of the woods here. Inside bar, bearish pattern, couple little red bars bringing it back down below the 50 and the 20 MA. Now we're waiting for pattern, see if this sets up sideways for the next leg down. If you are bullish, you need to get above these pivot areas around 138.73. Get above the all-time high at 140.86, and if you could do that, I think we could possibly go higher, maybe retest 145, 150 area up in there. But again, we got to retest to this area and then get above it, and then we'll see what happens from there. Again, this bearish pattern starts to play out. We're going to look for this sideways action down here, and then if we go down, test double bottom. I believe that's a gap right there. Yeah, there's a gap fill, little pivot, but then you have gap fill down here. And then you have the other gap fill down here on the Trump rally. So you got to watch for that. I believe, yeah, there's a little gap fill here too as well. So you have to watch those areas. I kind of like this one for a bounce, but I want to see how this comes into it if we still sell. We had okay volume today, more yesterday on the sell candle. If you're bullish though, you got to get back above these MAs. That's number one, and then you got the pivots here. If this sets up sideways, inside bar below the MAs here, and then runs into this area, let me stretch that out a little bit more. Let's bring that right here. So if this goes sideways, 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 and can't get above there, then expect more downside. Again, one day at a time, but I'm thinking down in this area first, then we'll see how it sets up, and then we'll try to calculate lower prices where this thing could possibly head. But right now, IWM's lagging a little bit to the market, so that's a little bit talking to us, so just keep that in mind, but nothing wrong. One day at a time, jobs number tomorrow, we'll see what that brings. Qs, same thing, inside bar, retraces back up. This one couldn't get above it. We talked about this inside bar, even on the other charts. This is big. If it cannot get above that, it's going to keep chopping, 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 building pressure. And if this pressure doesn't pop this thing into the 135 to 140 area, then the downside move will probably end up going right here back to 120. And then we'll have to take a look at the charts and see what happens. So you still have a big area around the 125 area, but ultimately this thing starts to, just get hammered. You got a gap fill right here too. I like this area right down in here for a long. We still have to see how it comes down into this area, even if it does. Eventually it will, but how long does it take? I don't know. We're in an 8-year bull run, guys, so you got to respect that, but eventually bull runs do end, and we'll get some sort of a pullback. But if you're bullish, you need to get above the all-time high, 133.48. If you're bearish, then you need to get below the MA, the 50 MA, double bottoms down here. Then I believe you'll start stair-stepping down on all the indexes. you know, not just the Qs. DIA, same volume too, guys. Volume was light today. DIA was the only one that didn't really retrace other than this one, and that was on the ADP jobs report, and everyone's rejoicing. No volume that day, guys. But the volume, the second, or yeah, that had a little more volume, but the volume, you know, pretty much going on, you know, other than some selling days, you know, when it's green, it's just light. Look at the light volume here too. So again, bearish inside bar, but you're still bullish. You're above the 50 and the 200 MA. So it's a 50-50 shot. If you are bullish, you need to get above the trend line, this pivot, that pivot, and then go for the 211.59. If it goes above that, you know, you're probably looking at 215 to 220 if the market can really push it. You got a trend line up here, though, right at around 217. So we got to get above that first. So just respect the pattern here. Let's take it one day at a time. Right now, we don't have a lot other than a little bit, you know, just keep chopping around here. And as long as we're staying in between them, let's see which way this thing can go. So, you know, one day at a time. Tomorrow is Friday. We're going to look at the weekly chart close too. That's going to be pretty important as well. But again, jobs report, I don't know what it's going to bring, guys. If it's good, might be bad. If it's good, we might have a 400-point rally in our face back to double top. I don't know. Tomorrow, we'll play it as it comes and hopefully get some trades out tomorrow and make some money. Let's go to the IYT. IYT, same scenario. This is a good bullish pattern, though. Still down, sideways, bearish, but you have a micro bull here. Got it back above the 20 MA today, so I cannot rule this out that this could pop. If the market stay buoyant or start moving up, this will definitely move up through this area, through this pivot. But again, one day at a time. Look at the volume on this thing. I mean, this normally doesn't trade a lot anyways, but look what happens. So it disappears, green, get some volume red, get some volume red, get some less volume, get green, which was today. We only had 236 million on this trading. But what we're looking for, if you're bullish, you need to get above this trend line, 750, and of course the 50 retrace, and then this pivot. We managed to do that. Then you're looking at gap fill, and the all-time high at 173.88. If you get above that area, then, you know, I wouldn't rule out 175 to 180. I'm going to throw a little wider range in there. But again, we still have to get above the MAs. We still have to get through double top. And then we'll see where this one can go, you know, the IYT. But again, it's lagging, which is a bad indicator. It needs to start moving like it did back here. Remember we were talking about this, chop and chop and chop and chop. It's like, gosh, this thing's got to giddy up, and all of a sudden, oh, gosh, that thing just took off. Crazy stuff, guys. All right, let's get right into the USO. USO had another great day on news. Just keep popping this thing up. We did go right back into the 200 MA yesterday, rejected it, came right back in. We have the 50 and the 200. Let's see if this gives us a pattern, bullish pattern, and then the pop, or do they gap this thing up and get, you know, gap and go? If it does get up into this area, we'll start looking at it for a short, but one day at a time. We had a nice move off a double bottom gap fill. Let's see how long this is going to last. We could get a, this is what I'm looking for, guys. You know, if they want higher oil prices, they're going to gap this thing up and keep it going. If they do that, then we'll probably go to gap fill, and then the gap fill up in here. And if they don't do that, then, you know, watch for this thing still chopping, building pressure to go up. But if it comes right back in, you could be trouble in paradise, guys. Just tighten the stops if you're long oil. We still have quarter positions on USO and the SCO long and the USO short. Quarter position, I made my money. If it goes up a little bit more, I'm trying to wait for this area in here, 1150. 1162. If we make it there, we'll see. If it does, I'll put a trade alert out there, and we'll go short this one again. All right, or we have a quarter position. It's going up. We'll just add the position that we took off and, you know, take the profits basically. The UUP. UUP, same thing, got above the moving averages though today, so you have to respect it. You do have a little tail here as well, so let's see if we can get above that tail. We do have a big inside bar too as well, just like on the spider and everything else. That will be the big test right here at 26.25. Right now, a little bit bullish, not the best. I would have liked it to go across the MA here, the 20 MA, and then pop, but you know, a little premature maybe, but we're going to keep an eye on this one tomorrow and see if it continues up, but nothing wrong with this one. Nice fill the gap, get back up, and then boom, takes off. Again, they could pull the rug, and next thing you know, this is right to the 200 MA again, so just relax on this one. Try to let's try to see if we can, you know, get a couple more days on this pattern to see if it can move up. You know, the Federal Reserve is going to come in here tomorrow with the jobs report, probably manipulate this one a little bit. to bring oil down, bring oil up. So let's keep an eye on this. Right now, nothing wrong. Great little move off the bottom, and pretty much in the middle here on the retrace. It could go up or down, kind of basing in a bullish pattern. Let's see if that plays out. Then let's look into the GLD. GLD in a chop zone right here. Chop, 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 chop. Hit big resistance, pulled back, catch the bottom here, right back up into the 200. If you look at the weekly, you have the 200 and the 50 MA we're contending with. So I would say a little more chopping around maybe for the next couple weeks unless we get some news and, you know, the oil gold takes off. But right now, nothing wrong. Back into resistance, chopping around. Daily pattern. You know, again, not the best, not the worst, but I do like the fact that we're chop, 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 getting ready to explode. I like the tighter pattern, but what do you expect? It's gold. Get a little bit of news out of the Janet Yellen camp. Dollar goes up, gold goes down, dollar goes up, oil goes up, which should go down, and everything's all over the place. It's really, really been interesting, guys. And then the last and least is Jnug. Jnug closed barely above the 20 MA. We keep talking about that 20 MA. As long as it's, you know, as long as it's staying above it, we're okay. Even if it gets below it, nothing to worry about it. You know, just keep an eye on this. If gold somewhere down the line just starts to plummet, this one will tank big time. So really, if you're up in this thing around $556, if we start getting below the 581 and the 525 area on our charts, you're going to have to look at possibly stopping out and then buying back from 430 to 383 or $4 area. That's where you're looking for the next long, just in case if we start to fall apart. But I do like this inside bar bullish pattern. Don't say that very often, but this is an inside bar bullish pattern. But overall, this is a drop zone, little pop retrace, and now we're just chopping around. So this is, you know, for me, bearish pattern with a micro bullish pattern in there. So again, I followed the GLD, so this one has a mind of its own. But again, nothing wrong. If you're long in this one, just keep holding tight. Let's see if we get some upper prices here. If we do get above here, the 808 area, and then this pivot down in here, 50 MA, and most likely we're going to 932. If we can get above this trend line, not the best, not the worst, then you're going to 1012, and then possibly the $12 area up in this area here. Let me push this down. Maybe you can even go to double top. Who knows? All right, guys. I think that's it for today. Thanks again for coming. Thanks again for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. Sign up for my StockBookie site. It's free. Everything's there. Trades, videos, live stuff. Everything's posted there. Even though it's on YouTube, eventually everything will be on the StockBookie.com site. Again, everyone, thanks for watching my videos. God bless. See you on the charts.